Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. We're not going to have fun today. We're not going to have fun at all, actually. We're going to have the opposite of fun, in fact. We're going to have negative fun. New fun. Nega fun. Hello. We don't get to have nice things here. Hello, Iro. Are you having a good day today? I'm hoping you're having a good day. Welcome to Powered by the Apocalypse. I made this VSO in a very awkward size, so I'm trying to get it in the right size. Welcome to Powered by the Apocalypse. Now, for those of you who have been following me these past while, you may be wondering, Notepad, you fucking despise Powered by the Apocalypse. And that answer would be yes. I do. I do hate this franchise. I do hate this thing we've made that we all have to deal with. But what is Powered by the Apocalypse? What really is this thing? Powered by the Apocalypse is actually based off a game called Apocalypse World, written back in 2010 by Meg and Vincent Baker. Apocalypse World was probably one of the, if not the big... It was the big indie RPG for a very long time. It's over 13 years old at this point. 13 years old. Now, the interesting thing when it comes to Apocalypse World is that it was actually born, you could say, born from the Forge. And the Forge was Ron Edwards' perpetual nightmare fuel, and generally speaking, when people refer to Apocalypse World, they aren't really talking about Apocalypse World, because there's a secret with Apocalypse World. There's a very big secret powered by the Apocalypse, and that is they released the fucking license for free. Okay, we all got that? We all got the fact that they released the fucking license for free. Now, what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? What does this actually mean? What it actually means is anyone could technically make a Powered by the Apocalypse inspired, quote-unquote, game. Anyone could use the basic system as laid out, and I'm going to explain the basics of the system right here, right now, for all two of you. Now, but send you up a little bit just so we have a good view of things. Generally speaking, Apocalypse World is a 2d6 game, alright? Easy enough to understand. 2d6 game, but there's a catch. These are fairly interpretive results. If you score a 1 to 6, that is a fail. Fail, miserable fail. This is bad. You don't want this to happen. If you score 7 to 9, though, that's a partial success. What's a partial success? Well, it depends on what we're going forward. Now, 10 up is a full success. That is the entirety of the game at its absolute basics. If you ever want to learn how to play Powered by the Apocalypse, this is all you have to do. This is what you play. This is what you click. This is what you do. And congratulations, you successfully played Apocalypse World. Apocalypse World. Trying to make sure I don't get any comments or anything. Now, the interesting thing is that Apocalypse World is held together by things called moves. Now, what's a move, you may wonder? A move, at their absolute basics, is a narrative beat, I guess you would call it. A narrative beat. So, for example, in Apocalypse World, I remember this one quite well, seize by force. Any single time that you're trying to seize something by force, you are in fact making a move. You're making a move to do something. I want to seize by force. I'm going to be rolling plus, I believe it's aggro. That's what it is. Can't remember. No, it's I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what the Apocalypse World stats were. Good. Now, thing is, if you succeed, now let's say for example we want to seize by force. All right, easy enough to understand. We roll a 10 up, we got a full success. We get exactly what we want. If we roll 7 to 9, we get a partial success. We get something. We get what we want, but we have to pay a cost for it. Or if we roll a 1 to 6, you fail miserably and everybody laughs at you. You fucking goblin. Now, in most times, there's a move for just about everything. But the problem is, you can't obviously write a move for everything, because that would just be actions with a different name. So what they do instead is that the moves are actually very large. Seize by force could mean me running up to you and decking you in the face to take something from you. It could mean me trying to force something away from you. It could be us looking at each other and trying to grapple with what's going on. Easy enough to understand. Some of the more esoteric moves start coming in later, because you start having to ask yourself, what is a partial success on trying to kick open a door? Or you end up with some moves which are very specific or very, well, apply for everything. One you see quite a few times are things like test your luck. Anytime another move doesn't do, you're in fact just testing your luck. That's all you have to do, because there always has to be a move in there which is the everything else move. Now, generally speaking, these are player moves. These are player moves. Most of the time, the GM or the Master of Ceremonies have their own moves. These are called soft moves or hard moves. These are you running the fucking game. These are just you playing the fucking game. They gave him a special name because fuck you. Soft move is like you're making an implication that something's going to be happening. Hey, you are moving through this area and you hear a noise. That's a soft move, technically. You're putting them in danger or something like that, and they have to make a move to either get out of it, aggravate it, something. Hard moves, on the other hand, are you doing something decisively against them. Hey, you're taking damage now. Hey, you're doing this. You're doing this. This is occurring. Now, there are some of these which are pretty esoteric. Some of them are pretty simple. The vast majority of the time, hard moves are something along the lines of, hey, you are under threat. Make a roll. Hey, you are in a chase. Make a roll. That's kind of the idea behind it. I've explained to you pretty much the entirety of Powered by the Apocalypse already. I've explained to you just about the entire thing. You don't really need any more graphic information about this particular thing, because you don't need it, really. It's weird when you think about that, isn't it? You don't really need more information about what Powered by the Apocalypse is, because of how ubiquitous it is. To give you an idea, Powered by the Apocalypse has been around since 2010, and they are still making PBTA games. Yes, still making PBTA games. However, there's a very fascinating situation. Hello, Draco. There's this very fascinating situation with Powered by the Apocalypse, in which we can see in real time what I would like to call, what the best way to kind of thing is evolution. Yes, we can see this in literary evolution. Now, what do I mean by this? Sounds very pretentious, and the answer is it is pretentious. Effectively, PBT, the original Apocalypse World. The original Apocalypse World came out in 2010. We are still seeing things such as Apocalypse Keys in 2023. It's the same exact idea I just explained to you. 2d6, partial successes, full successes, half successes. And this kind of all boils back down to that original point I made, is that Powered by the Apocalypse is a free and open license. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Oh, well, you can't do it if you want to do this. Well, that's not quite the case. But the thing is, this is the fascinating part, the basic fundamentals of what Apocalypse World put down has slowly and steadily created they've created dozens, if not hundreds, of offshoots. For example, Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark does not exist without Apocalypse World. That's just a fact of life. Masks does not exist without Apocalypse World. These two games are pretty radically different, but they all come from this common ancestor. And yeah, Vincent Baker did fuck up pretty hard by making it so you can't get it actively. Well, actually, how do I want to word this? Yeah, you kind of even see here. We're going over Alas for the Awful Sea, Avatar Legends, City of Mist, Dungeon World, Apelion, Farflung, Fellowship, Ironsword, Cult Divinity Lost, Mask. And these are not even everything, mind you. This is actually not everything. There's a lot more. These are, I think, one kind of the bigger idea. These are one of the more traditional ones, because I would say, with like Vincent Baker, for example, we go to Vincent Baker. This is Vince. This is the creator of Apocalypse World right here. Vincent is a tragic beast of a man. I say he's a tragic beast of a man for one very specific reason. He often has to do, when he does Kickstarters or something like that, what he does is, if we reduce down here, PBTA creator pay it backs. Out of everyone, I don't think Vincent has probably gotten some of the least amount out of just the raw amount. PBTA creator kickbacks 5 people. 0 people even funded the publisher pay it back. The creator pay it back. This is going to be a reoccurring theme with some of his games. Where, of everything, the original Apocalypse World is seen, in my eyes anyway, as somewhat quaint at this point. This is the inverse of Linux, where Linux distro can be fun from time to time. PBTA tends to beget truly awful stuff. Well, I think it's the idea that, and this is kind of the major kind of concept behind it, is that PBTA, PBTA is open and free, effectively. Anyone can use PBTA. There is no licensing fee. There is no money to be, kind of get shoved around. Avatar Legends is the largest Kickstarter in tabletop role-playing game. $9.5 million. And you know what the funny part is? Vincent Baker probably didn't see a fucking dime of it. Not a goddamn dime. And if Vincent Baker tried to say, hey, I deserve money from this, give me money from this, I can guarantee you PBTA would no longer be you. It would be something else entirely. It would be a completely different game, just the exact same. Because remember, Apocalypse World is what I would like to call, kind of like the old guard. The old guard mostly cropped up around 2010 to about 2005-ish, 2007-ish, if you really want to put 2017, I mean. 2010 to about 2017-ish. About the first 7 years is when you started seeing the first of the major old guard. But then, during that time is when you also saw the first deviants. And I say Blades in the Dark is a deviant, because it took a lot of the basic ideas of Powered by the Apocalypse, it's, variable successes and playbooks, and very much went its own direction with it. Blades in the Dark does not exist without Apocalypse World, as I've said before. However, this is the important thing, Blades in the Dark went on to forge its own identity, Forged in the Dark. And you want to know the other funny thing with Forged in the Dark? Well, Forged in the Dark has a full SRD and resources that you have to put down on there. You have to put this down, and every time you do anything here, it's going to link back here. It's actually quite smart. It's very intelligent. And then you get some like radical deviations. Like then you get, kind of the more radical deviations where it's things such as what was it? Like technically, want to be really specific about things. You get shit like Lancer, for example, where Lancer does not exist without Apocalypse World. You may be wondering, what are you talking about, Notepad? That makes no sense. Lancer doesn't exist without Apocalypse World because of the pilot section. It bears a lot of similarities there. The high, mid, low successes. That's kind of the idea. There's a lot of similarities there. Yeah, Lancer doesn't exist with... Yeah, because the thing is, Apocalypse World, and it's going down the list, effectively. If you keep going down the list, you'll find people connected in one way or another to Apocalypse World in the, quote, indie scene. But we'll actually get to the indie scene in a minute here. There's actually a very interesting series of posts I found. So talking about that'll be fun. But now I've explained to you the entirety of how do we play, what is Apocalypse World. I've explained it. I hope you all enjoyed it. We've got 4 games today. 4 whole games. All of them have some vaguely similar themes. I didn't really intend for this to have as similar themes as I was planning on. However, yeah, we also get this one, which is more of a we'll talk about. But all of these do have some interesting stories behind them, if that makes sense. Every single one of them are fascinating. You better go with that one first. Again, I'm taking everybody wants to see Cartel first. Does people want to see Cartel first? Here, I'll do a quick rundown of all the games just for everyone, so everyone knows we're on the same wavelength. Alas for the Awful Sea is about the British. Blackout is about the British. Night Witches is about the Russians. Cartels are about Mexico. Cartel was fascinating. I went over Cartel a lot last night because I was like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negro Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87104. To all law enforcement, this is not admission of guilt. I'm speaking to my family now. Skylar, here to love my life. I hope you know that. Walter Jr., you're my big man. There are going to be some things you'll come to learn about me in the next few days. Just know that no matter what it may look, I only had you in my heart. Goodbye. Oh, we've got a manly co-host, no less. Have no fear. We've got the It Ain't Me. Hello, Manly. Oh, terrific. Yeah, we welcome to the Apocalypse World. Roll 2d6. We've seen the war, Manly. Come on. So I'm seeing that we're let's go down to Mexico. Why don't we? Probably the second most radical departure. The trees, they speak Ukrainian. So let's talk about Cartel. Let's talk about Cartel a little. It'll be we'll do Blackout last. Now I'm going to do Blackout last because it's the shortest and it also has some interesting bits to it. That's not about the game. Night Witches, we'll do Night Witches next. Okay, I know how we're gonna do this. Okay, Cartel. Now, I actually asked people, what the fuck is narco fiction? I actually asked people, what is what is narco fiction? And it was really funny coming from various Latin Americans speaking, my companions, my descamisados, and all various other, I'm gonna narc, uh, various other individuals of Spanish descent. It was very fascinating. So speaking, I had the Vietnam things as my avatar for the first 2 years of Discord. So yeah, that brings back memories. Welcome back to the grind, my friend. We're powered by the apocalypse and we're never gonna make it back out. But Cartel is an interesting game because I had to learn what narco fiction was. Now, when I first picked up Cartel, my original thoughts was going to be one of two things. One, this is going to be Breaking Bad, the role-playing game. Just no if and or but, just going to be Breaking Bad, the role-playing game. Didn't even register. Okay. Another part of me was like, yes, of course, this is going to be Narcos, the role-playing game. And you know what? Okay, there's some interesting things there. Probably it's going to be a very, kind of an in-depth look at the cartel and how it works and the brutality of cartel life. The inhumanity of, the cartel life and the people who get dragged along inside of it, whether or not they want to be there or not. Probably about the people at the bottom of the rungs, trying their best to survive in a difficult world. Cartel isn't not that. Isn't not that. I think that's a good way of wording Cartel. So, who's doing Cartel? Well, this is done by Mark Diaz Truman. You kind of see that here. We scroll down a little bit here. You see published by Magpie Games. Interesting. So, Magpie Games, for those who don't know, if I can click on the right fucking thing, Magpie Games are also the ones who've done things such as Avatar: The Last Airbender and Bluebeard, and I believe Bluebeard's Bride, yes. Bluebeard's Bride, Masks Next Generation, Cartel, Urban Shadows, Root, and quite a few different games they've done over there. You even see Pilion there. You even see Ashcan. Wait, is this what I think it is? But yeah, you kind of see some of the games that they've worked on. We've talked about Magpie quite a bit, actually. But I've never actually talked about Mark here. This is Mark Diaz Truman. He's the head, actually, of Magpie Games. He's the absolute head. Usually it's his partner, well, it's usually the co-founder of Magpie who does a lot of the games we've actually talked about. But this is good old Mark. Mark is an interesting duck, for more than a few. Now, you may be looking at that man and be like, Notepad, I have a question about the Notepad, Notepad. That man's white. And the answer is yes. And at first I was like, okay, this is going to get a little interesting. I am like, okay, so Mark Diaz Truman is the one doing the Mark Diaz Truman. He's the game designer. Tell if this make is 35 or 95. And I looked at it, I'm like, this is gonna be okay. Maybe he's just the game designer. Like, he didn't really do much else. Not quite. But yeah, as you can kind of see here, this is Mike. He's done quite a different lot of work, over generally speaking. And he's big on the game design, indie game designer fields. Everybody loves the indie game designers. Wink, 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 wink. So I'm like, okay, all right. Let's look at the Kickstarter. Okay, because of course they have a Kickstarter. Now, this Kickstarter for Cartel has some interesting things here. Now, this is Cartel. Mexican narco fiction right here, Mark Diaz Truman. Now, at first, I was going down here. Is a Mexican narco fiction tabletop, originally published in a preview form at Gen Con 2015, so this is pretty old at this point. Alright, but he spent the last 3 years, this is back in 2019, as you kind of see here, we'll get to understand, this is a little bit of a meme. So pretty much you can make an argument that this game really came into existence about 2016. But it was not published in 2016. Or 2019, really. If you go to Cartel RPG, if we go to Drive-Thru RPG, this was first published in 2019 and last updated in 2020. Now, this is an interesting note. This is a interesting note to say here. There's a lot more here. So, Cartel is based on Powered by the Apocalypse. We already know how things go. Creates an adult fiction in the vein of Breaking Bad, because he loves Breaking Bad. The Wild and El Mariachi. Mexican melodramas alike. Ooh. Now, this is the interesting bit here. I started working on Cartel around the same time I wrapped up writing Urban Shadows. I'm proud of my urban politics and community realities that Andrew Maedris and Bri brought to the game, but I wanted to do more connected to work with my culture. But when I was working on my Latino game, I struggled to connect my distinct perspective to an experience players would love. I couldn't just set the game in Mexico. I had to find a time and place that would evoke pain and promise of my culture experience. As I watched Breaking Bad, it clicked with me. Breaking Bad is set in my hometown of Albuquerque, New Mexico, but it's a story about white people. Seems an idea central to my heritage, but with Latinos at the fringes. Game I wanted to write in front of me. I realized that the game I wanted to write was right in front of me. The drug war, from the perspective of the Mexican people who live in the middle of it. You know, it's not about, it's about finding human moments amidst sprawling catastrophe and the war on drugs. It's about exploring what the live live in the supply chain. Years ago, I asked myself what a Mexican-American RPG looks like. Cartel is my answer. You know, I give him the benefit of the doubt for making him related to white skin. However, this term isn't exactly a good one, but it would be worse if he was 100% burger gun. Yeah, it's... The thing is, it was really odd to me that this was what a Mexican-American RPG looks like. Let's bring it to the cartels. That's such a bizarre thing to me. That's such a completely weird thing to talk about. Like, and kind of going into this, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Because again, I'm not Latino, I'm not Mexican, I'm not any of those things. I'm a fucking white dude, let's be honest with it. Jesse, we got a break. Well, Mr. White, wouldn't it make it bad? Well, Mr. Wheat. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's gonna be I know this section is gonna be 100% Breaking Bad memes. I'm sorry, everybody. The interesting thing here is that like it prefaces itself with a very bizarre thing, where this is a game about cartel life, written by someone in Albuquerque, New fucking Mexico. Also, the fucking no coins make the tiger ball shoot you. Sorry, Manly, you're McNaira's 100,000. We didn't actually give you a loaded gun. I'm getting your T-55. Even the, like, why do white people love to boil down Hispanic culture to funny white powder? And I remember talking about this a lot earlier with people. And for a long time ago, I wrote a game called Hearts of Darkness, which is all about, kind of, warlords and problems on the African continent. And it kind of expanded into, like, kind of the Yugoslavian conflict, to the Chinese Civil War, and a vast majority of other places. And I actually sat down with a Brazilian friend of mine, and I was chatting with him, being like, well, I'm thinking about doing, like, a Latin American version where it's more about cartels and stuff like that. And I remember him getting incredibly mad about that. I was going to do everything in my power to make it, as like accurate and how brutal it is, because again, that game is a brutal game. And it's like, I hated how everyone always breaks it down into that, because that's the first thing people think about Latin America is it's just drugs. Because the thing is, there's actually another game that I thought about going over, but it's technically not finished, so I felt a little bit weird going over it. Called, let me bring it up. I'm going to mispronounce it, by the way. Nahol? Nahol? Yeah, this one. This game. This is technically, this is a Mexican game. This is, Miguel, Angel Espinosa. And interesting here, the interesting bit when it comes to this is, yeah, developmental editing by Mark Diaz-Truman, because these two worked on this game together. And like, this seems a little bit better, like it's mystical, but there's kind of, you're bringing it back down. It's like, okay, cool, this is actually, there's a little bit of things working here, but as you kind of see here, it's the same people, and we'll see this name again, we'll actually talk about him in a second, but you chose to go with this one instead. That's you chose to go with Cartel instead. Because Colombia and Mexico are the only two countries that exist. Yeah, countries where narcos are a problem or narco-terrorists is a problem aren't like romanticism of those groups or nor being part of those groups. I live in a country with 0 narcos. It would be impossible, but you still have people to mention them. Yeah, it's weird. It's just kind of the preface to this game is kind of strange. But generally speaking, everything I explained about how to make how to play the game, that's literally it. Yeah, that's just how the game works. Now, interesting thing here, this is the core book. We're just going to go over the core book today. 150 plus map pages with full color and interiors and all the playbooks and move sheets. Now, you also had Amigos y Enemigos, friends and enemies, 30 plus NPCs you can add to any session of Cartel. So, yeah, other monsters and adversaries for the Durango and the Ruins pursuit of power and revenge. Sin Fronteros, and limited edition playbooks, Contras de Armor, and an advice about hacking, expanding, and building upon Cartel. We give you new ways to make Cartel work at your table. Con madres. I'm going to just mini supplements focusing on the CIA. Special edition core book. The deck of locations. the song of Los Narcos are called Narco Corridos. As part of the Cartel Kickstarter, we're making our own album of Narco Corridos. Bitch, fucking what? Posed by myself and longtime writing partner Justin Rogers, along with help with Miguel Angel Espinosa. Interesting. It's like, it seems like a bad idea, but okay. That's the bizarre thing. I'm like, who? And mind you, there's a lot more here. Because, like, you see all the locations. Like, here's the map of Durango. Here is the new playbook. Like, yeah, you want to do this is literally just the Better Call. This is literally the Better Call Saul. This is the Saul Goodman playbook, by the way. More starter prompts for each playbook. Look up the cop who hopes to bring villains of the drug war to justice. El Tahir, charming gambler, got himself mixed up. Oh no! La Mariachi and Sin Fronteras. Some of these are just completely fucking random. Yeah, we're adding Azleton to Sin Frontier, a hack of Cartel set in a cyberpunk dystopia haunted by programs that hijack human hosts. This is still a game about the fucking Cartel, mind you. Cartel t-shirts. Luckily, we didn't hit the Cartel t-shirts, but we got the physical CD for Narco Corridos. Have no fear, everybody. It's like... Oh. Let's see, what was the most people paid for this? We've got... One person bought the $1,000 version. Yeah, one person bought it. La Reina del Pacifico. Yeah, everything in LA Barbie. Custom narco corrido. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget about the Santos candles. Santos candles are actually very specific. My mom is big into kind of like all the candle stuff and candle work. Like this is very important to some people. You've got special cartel dice. You've got the temporary tattoos by, Miguel Angel Espinosa. Keep singing na 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 na. El Narco stash, accessories. A pouch of meth rocket candy from Bad Candy Lady. A set of 5 temporary tattoos. Here's some special meth rock candy. Yeah, these are the various testimonials. We've seen some of these people before. Now again, the first people we cite is Mark Diaz, Sarah Richardson. We don't see Angel until way down here. This guy is actually from Mexico. Now, it's interesting if you go here, he is actually cited as one of their authors. Has he written anything else? Has Miguel actually written anything else? And Miguel, Angel Espinosa, no. He's not written anything else. But that's not quite fully true, because if you go to here and you open up his website here, this is who he is. He has Smoking Mirror Games. This is who the guy is. And if it loads, it might load, it might not, who knows. Where's the black teenager that gets hooked and buys this shit? I haven't seen this much concentrated white since my last trip to Panera Bread. My God. Yeah, this is the, we are an indie game publishing group in Mexico dedicated to creating tabletop games or bring diversity to the hobby by creating games based on underrepresented cultures, mainly Mexico. Mainly Mexicans. Do they have any projects? No. Technically, they have 2 projects. They have Ixalba, which is a 5e supplement, which is a pre-Hispanic 5e setting, and Zantolo, I believe that would be pronouncing it, where you're dead, because it's, again, Day of the Dead is, I'm sorry, Mexico, that you have exactly 2 cultural pieces with you. You are Cartel Town, actually, no, I'd say this. You have 3 cultural pieces. You have Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos. You are orange. You have an orange filter over you at all times. I'm sorry, that's just how Mexico is. You also have cartels. Those are the 3 things Mexico has. Mexico has nothing else. I'm sorry. You know that, that culture, that history you have? No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is... Has he done anything else? Not that I know of. He looks like he's like a graphic designer. I think he's worked on other things. But I don't think he's ever written anything. This is the only thing he's cited on as an actual author. Is Cartel. Only a silver seller, by the way. Now, interesting things here is, if we go to comments, January update with exciting news. Because you may be wondering, wait a second, Notepad? What, no, Notepad? Where was the expansions that should have come out? The expansions seem pretty important, right? Well, fun fact, the expansions have never come out. Yeah, apparently this has been a relatively consistent issue where they've been radio silent on shipping things out. Like, the actual like supplements have just not come out. Or designers for the Roll20 material waylaid last year by the pandemic, because this game came out right when COVID was, kind of kicking off. But my thing is, I can understand, here's the thing, I can understand physical things getting shipped kind of weird. I understand that perfectly. I get that. But like the kind of like the written stuff, the art stuff, that's a little bit, yeah, glory stuff but no CD. Yeah. Yeah, the CDs haven't been put out yet, probably because they're a bunch of fucking, yeah, apparently they added a lot of things to this. And I question why. Yeah, Berlin 1981, Cold War Germany, because again, that's, yeah, this is one of those games where I find it fascinating. Will this get finished? Yeah, I think eventually it's going to get finished. You know, it made 56,000. I think it's going to get finished eventually. But my guess is probably we'll see all the Kickstarter stuff come out at the end of the year at best. But yeah, that's kind of the situation with that. That's kind of the opening. Cartel's art is a little bit weird. You know, we kind of got off on the wrong foot, but let's get into it, right? Really, let's get into it now. Special thanks to everybody there. Dedicated to those who helped me wrestle. Dedicated to those who helped me wrestle with the depth of my Latino identity. Yeah. Yeah, I owe an incalculable debt to Miguel from adding Mexican slang to helping me understand La Policia in Mexico. He made the final version of Contra truly authentic journey into Durango. Not done without you. Muchas gracias, cabron. Yeah, I don't think I had not MC'd today. Yeah, it's oh, that's the entire book. That's the entire book, by the way. Yeah, ordinary people mired in drugs, money, and violence, the Mexican drug war. That's not really true, though, when we get into it, when we start seeing things. When you play it, you and your amigos, tell a story together, a tale of bloody drama and tragic violence set against the tense backdrop of the broader Mexican experience in Durango. Because, again, the Mexican experience is nothing more than, again, cartels, Day of the Dead, and an orange filter. That is the Mexican experience. But yeah. Reminder that La Guerra and Antidrogas is predictable as it is unescapable. A way of enduring the story doesn't stagnate or deflate. So yeah, what is Cartel? It's, at its very core, this is literally just telling you about what is the basics of it. You are working for the Sonora Cartel. I think the whole book should have a yellow filter. Why the paper is white? Exactly. This is not fair. Yeah, like this, I don't think this is the authentic experience. I think that's the problem. I do not think this is the authentic Mexican experience. It's not a yellow filter. But yes, this is, you technically, yes, technically in this game, you work for the Sonora fucking Cartel. Let me just bring up the Sonora Cartel for everybody here. Filter the OBS to fix it. I am certain that will break miserably. But yeah, here is the Sonora Cartel. This is who you work for. Now this is Cartel is fundamentally about working with the Sonora cartels as one of their people in a variety of different positions. Oh wow, cool. You kind of see cool. Oh no. Now, one of the big things is that you're going, the main antagonists, you could say, are the Las Zetas, are the Z's, or Las Zetas are the scary fucking guys that you don't want to fuck up. Now, Cartel is ultimately about the intersection between the roles of characters have adopted: the cook, the jefe, the dirty cop, the personal, and their personal lives. Because remember, this is the Breaking Bad RPG. That's kind of one of the weird things. We'll go into some of the playbooks. Oh, Jesus. Yes, this is, instead of merely observing them from a distance, challenges dominate the narrative of the drug war, asking us to find the humanity in the people that are often described as monsters, because they work for the fucking cartels! Asking us to find humanity in your hands. These narcos stay people, even when they do terrible things or make the wrong choice. After all, they're trying their best in the most difficult situation. Find their way in all paths lead to darkness. But be clear, Gwei, there are no heroes here. No rescues, no happy endings for all involved, no justice saved when you claim for yourself. Yeah, so long as the Los Estados Unidos prohibits the drugs, it can't stop smoking or snorting and shooting. There'll be cartels with all the accompanying sales and savagery. Niendo a belir al chalma. Do not pretend that you can plan to make things better for the people of Mexico. You're lucky if you have a chance to do the right thing for once. Yeah, and then they talk about Durango, Mexico. Kind of talking about, kind of the issues with the city and stuff like that. Then you have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful disaster piece lines. Like, if the Sonora Cartel is classic rock, perfecting the combination of violence and patronage that make Mexico a narco state in the first place, then Los Zetas is dubstep, incomprehensible to anyone who worked the streets 50 years ago. Aren't the only cartel to use videotape beheadings, mutilated body, and mass killings to seize power, but they pioneered the form. Yeah. Oh yeah, easy. I can't wait for the I'm in danger. There's two I am in danger moves, fun fact. Walk into Mexico immediately. Two men walk up to me and paint a skull face on me. My skin and eyes turn orange and the world shifts hue. A man with a sombrero then hands me one drug and tells me to shove it up my ass to run it across the border. That's feel when Mexico. I have to mention a very important thing. I found it funny that when there's people that complain when you give Mario with a poncho, but they would absolutely be fine with stuff that glorify the criminal groups of the country. Yeah, both could do it pretty well. I would say you could do it. You would need to do a little bit of editing, I think, but it could work. But yeah, they're talking some things that, and they want to set the stage here. Like, this first bit is really setting the stage, even down to things like explaining what narco corridos is. There's the whole industry of media, like gangster rap, not gangster rap, and mob movies that promote and document reports of the cartels, portraying them as romantic outlaws, vibrant revolutionaries, or just tragic figures of Mexican myth. Yeah, it's... Yeah, yeah, you get some things here. They kind of try to set the stage as best they can. Technically, it's not the Master of Ceremonies, it's the Maestro de Ceremonias. Because again, we have to have you have to have Spanish and everything. I don't even know if this game is in Spanish. Actually, you know what? I have a very important question for you. Yeesh, this is Kay's game. Actually, I have a question. For my Latin American friends, for my Latin American pals currently in the chat right now, what I want you to do is I want you to try to find, is there a Spanish version of Cartel? I wonder if there's a Spanish version of Cartel. Well, not even that burning. Yeah, not even that sideburn. Because, like, the amusing thing with that is, like, Kay lives in Mexico, and Kay feels like he knows what the fuck's going on. And even when I was talking to him yesterday about it, like, I don't think Kay at any single moment would say the cartels are good people. Or, like, oh, you can find humanity in them. I don't think that would ever be a case he could say. No, this is, yeah. Yeah, it's everything you need to print is available. Very simple stuff. Why play Cartel? I've explained over the last 5 years. I often get some version of, good God, why would I want to do that? It sounds like a terrible, horrible time. I don't mind that reaction. Cartel isn't for everyone. It's intense, requiring you to play against your fellow players, much as you'd play part of the setting while keep your head amidst the violence and chaos of the Mexican drug or chingale. I don't speak Spanish, but for those who want to tackle such content, I can promise you this. Cartel is a unique experience crafted to simulate the paranoia and tension of your favorite crime dramas. I've spent years honing Cartel systems and playbooks. Yes, he spent years honing. This is probably one of the more dedicated. This is very much Magpie's version of PBTA. I don't think this was years in the making. I've labored to create a game that captures the intensity of crime fiction, all wrapped up in the culture and swagger of Once Upon a Time in Mexico or El Mariachi. You walk a mile to shoot people struggling to make the best of a bad situation without losing what little they've scraped together. Each decision they make matters more than you might expect, and their lives and deaths will move you in unexpected ways. But again, you still are working for the fucking crime family. Like, it's... Again, that's like one of the things I had to do with, that's one of the things I actually did with, in the Dancing in the Glory of Monsters and Hearts of Darkness and kind of things like that. One thing I really kind of hammered home very early on is that, like, you are not going to be good people. You can't be good people. You always start as good people. And that's always the issue. You always start as good people. You always have a good intention, but it's... Every single thing should wear you down. Everything makes you want to be a worse and worse person because someone has done something terrible to you, and it's justifiable now, right? I could do something terrible to somebody else, and it's a lot of that game is giving you a lot of temptation to be evil. But you shouldn't. There's nothing in that game forces you. Yeah, every good game about crime tells you DCs are dog crap people. Yeah, it's not necessarily that. They have just such a weird approach to it in this game. But yeah, focus on demeanor, let them be human, relax, be cool. Represent all... Once you let go of the idea you're playing a character that has to represent all Mexicans, you can just play the character. That sounds like a dodge, but it's not. It's the only way forward. You're playing Cartel to have fun. Just play the character. Yeah, you're making it weird. You made it weird. Playing safe. And then it immediately goes into like, oh yeah, cool, let's go do the safety tools. Oh. Yeah, you don't have to watch crime fiction when you go to the movies. You don't have to play Cartel. This is the game designed to make you and your group uncomfortable, push you to the limits. Yeah. Viva! Viva! Mexico! Yeah, this is, to give you an idea, they literally do like a history of Mexico, except it's like a very curated history of Mexico, where it's like, we were conquered, we declared independence from Spain, there was the revolution. We're not going to talk about the time we got attacked by a lot of things. The modern era. El Padrino, Miguel Angel, drug smugglers, the United, an unholy alliance. Yeah, it's the way everything kind of sets up. They do their best to kind of like explain to you everything about the cartels. Like what it's like. Oh, here's the CDS, the Sinaloa cartel. Here's what the Gulf cartel is like. Here's the life of a narco. Here's how the La Plaza system works. Because I'm going to do my best to explain the Plaza system, because it makes a little bit more sense of what's going on. Don't treat this as gospel, treat this as like a very rough primer. But pretty much there is the big boss. This you're like, not you. You're not the big boss. You don't own the entire thing. However, there are the kind of the lower bosses. This is you. You are an El Narco. You own a thing called a plaza. That is pretty much like you can almost think about it like an estate, where you own everything in the area, and that's your territory. but you have to manage everybody inside of the territory just as much as you need to manage your own people. As the El Narco, you are the lord of this tiny fief. You pay up. You always pay upward. Everything any profits you get, you reap the benefits of, but you always got to do kickbacks up top. Hey, you know, as being El Narco, you get some money from your people, you kick it up top. Hey, there's some problems going on below you, you deal with it. Hey, there's some issues going on around you, you deal with it. If you fuck up, you get eliminated. Easy enough. So that's kind of like what the plaza system is like. And that's like an official thing in Mexico. You know, they didn't like that. Yeah, El Narco, the boss. Heavy is the head. The deputies. The vast machine. Los Sicarios. Sicarios. Yeah, and they literally go through the entire structure. A message to the anti, don't be weird, just play the fucking game. I'm amazed at the audacity. Worth picking up as a flavor guy type dog to a degree. I would not say so far since dropping in, it sounds like it's worth a purchase. If you want to spend $15 for something you can Google, cool, that's your prerogative. I would say that maybe if you need a copy, yell at me. I can give you the sections you need. The kind of thing. That's kind of the thing that you gotta understand. But yeah, corruption within, it's kind of going over everything here. Los Zetas, you kind of see there, you know, the Z's, they were former government soldiers. Diablos todos, here's the Catholic Church. Weirdly enough, this is the only mention of the Catholic Church. Like, the only mention of the Catholic Church in the fucking game. It's very strange. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I know, they kind of go over, like, how is Durango, you know, what's the sites, what are the demographics. They do talk about, you know, like, it's a modern city. Half the city is white, but not really in the way gringos think. They're Mexicanos, likely wealthy and powerful, trace their roots to Europeans. Undeniably culturally Mexican. Their whiteness is defined in opposition to indigenous groups and rural narcos, not ordinary Mexicanos. Expert live in Durango's low. There are immigrants groups. Ukrainians, Japanese, Mennonites. It's weird you mentioned Mennonites. Yeah, it's effectively like if you want to play... Cowards won't even call them castizos. Yeah, role-playing is conversation. Cabron. Cabron. Yeah. Generally speaking, as I kind of explained, kind of like the basics, the big thing with Powered by the Apocalypse as well is the idea of the conversation. Every single thing you do is a conversation at the end of the day. There is no battle map or anything. It's narratively the map. There is no, like, set turn order. It's the narrative turn order. There is no... They remove a lot of structure, but it's whatever the fiction dictates. Pretty much whatever your group is feeling like at the time. If your GM is like, okay, he's shooting first, you're shooting first. Or, hey, he's doing this, you're doing this. The big thing is that the GM is never going to roll. You, the player, are always going to be the one rolling. You're going to be the one choices. You are the one doing it. You are the protagonist. And as the protagonist, you have to deal with all the consequences that go along with that. And this does mean that if somebody acts against you, you'll be making, most of the time, you'll be making a move to oppose it. Yeah, basics, move explanations, other rules. scenes, hard scene framing, because yeah, we're gonna see a lot of these a lot, because it's like, yeah, this is a hard scene phasing. This is this is a soft, scene framing. The best way to think about this is, please just play a fucking game. Do you know how to play a fucking game? Yes? Cool. Yeah, this is, if you need... This feels like cyberpunkling, it's just Mexican words. Learn something new about every day. Yeah, it's, again, a lot of very fictional stuff, but yeah, now we have moves. Yes, as we kind of talked about before, every single thing you're going to be doing is going to be leading to a move of some variety. You want to trigger a move, you have to do the thing that triggers it. You want to pressure her, or do you want to propose a deal? I would say, I want to propose a deal. Then you're going to be making the propose a deal move. You're changing the narrative based on the action being set forward. Now, some people really like this. I fucking despise moves. I hate moves with every fiber of my fucking being. I loathe moves. You want to know why I loathe moves? Because what happens is you're not really making choices, you're trying to break things down. If that makes sense. You can kind of see over here, just like, sure, what does it look like? Are you trying to pressure her by letting her know this is Verdantiato, or are you trying to propose a deal? Like, why can't I do both, if that makes a sense? Like, hey, I'm giving you some money, but the millisecond you don't do this, something's gonna happen. The vast majority of other games, this is a check. This is a charisma check. This is a diplomacy check or something. You get the idea. It's you can do a lot more with a lot less. Moves are a lot broader in a lot broader situations, because you can be using the propose a deal in a bunch of different situations. You're going to be using pressure her in a bunch of different situations. So it's kind of that back and forth on that idea. I'm not a huge fan of moves. I've never really been. Holy, I said you can convert. It's like puta. Random swearing. These become more Mexicans friend. I swear more than my Mexicans friend on a normal day when he has to change locations. All right. Yeah, dragged down by the system structure. Yeah, it's well the playbooks aren't, hits and misses. Again, as I explained, 7 or more is a hit, 6 or less is a miss. 7-9 is a hit with complications. 10 up is you just win. Because remember, 1 to it's 0 to 6 or less, failure, failure. 7 to 9, partial success. 10 up, full success. So you have 3 options in every single roll. There's a little bit more stuff going on there, but that's kind of the basics of things. I see there, is using the Candide move when referencing her training as a cook when proposing a deal. Misses and failures. Generally, the idea is when you make a move, if you fail, the GM is going to immediately pull something on you. Hey, something is going wrong. Hey, you've got a partial success. Make some things that you have to pay for. Hey, you got a full success. Choose 3 of these things. Basic moves. Yeah. Justify your behavior, propose a deal, push your luck, get the truth, pressure someone, turn to violence, size someone up, get fucking shot, which is funny, or help or interfere, and strain your finances. Yeah, that's the you get hurt. There's no health in this game, fun fact. And I'm going to, and of course, we need to bring up, as we get to the playbooks, we need to bring up somebody very important. Say hello to, Salmon Varonil. As you can see, Hello, Sensoni. We're going over Cartel Wars. Champagne get furry detected. No, this is just manly. Sorry. Like actual one? Yes. Good old cartels. This is a game called Cartel about cartels, about playing members of the cartels. Obviously, I had to bring in my little tiger ball himself. Manly had to bring up here. As you can kind of see, there is no such thing as health in this game. There's no health. You just have stress. And that stress is kind of like your health, but not really. I'm going to try to explain that when we start going forward. You know, if you find the moves limiting, you're right. They do limit you, focusing on the mirada that matter, on the mirada that matters. You don't need rules for trying to your shoelaces or making tamales. Or, sorry, I have to say tamales. Great, making tamales. If you don't say it right, because it's like this, you're not doing it correct. Yeah. You need rules for lying to your wife about the drugs you stole or wresting a gun away from a deadly Sicaria. Do whatever you want. Yeah, so the basic moves are justify your behavior, accept your logic. We're gonna actually, let's see if I can find a good one. We have propose a deal. Sure. This is the literally everything else move. Just so kind of like how some games don't have health but sanity. Yes, but there is a health mechanic in this game. There is a health mechanic, but there isn't. It's a little wonky. It's a little wonky in that regard. So, in the right here, push your luck. This is the in just about every single PBTA game, you will find a move like this. Push your luck at its very core is we don't have a move for anything else. So push your luck. Hey, I want to jump out a window to try to get the hell out of Dodge. We don't really have a move for this, so push your luck. Hey, I need to negotiate with my I'm trying to strong arm somebody. Well, we don't really have a move for this, so maybe push your luck. That's kind of the idea. But let's see if I can find a good one. Okay, these are question ones. So, we try to get the truth out of someone. Roll with hustle. On a hit, clear 1 stress. On a 10 plus, pick 2. On 7 to 9, pick 1. Now, the big idea is, what happens here is we make the roll. So I'm going to take my 2d6 here. I'm going to take my 2d6 here. I'm going to get the... I'm going to say, okay, I roll, and I've got a fucked up... come on, roll well. There we go. Got a 9. Since I've rolled a 9, I only get to pick 1. They can't mislead you with the truth. They can't confuse you with falsehoods. They can't stonewall you with silence. So if you try to get the truth out of someone, and you say, hey, you can't mislead me with the truth, they can just stonewall you with silence. But why? Yeah, no, these are fairly... They do explain to you how to actually do this. They have to say something. You can't confuse it. You know, that's kind of the idea. Like, they can't try to mislead you. It's like, oh... They kind of go over the examples. Let me see. Pressure someone, kind of the idea. This is the question move. Mm-hmm. To the Fetty Scum PBTA podcast by A Mac. The game mixed and remixed so many times, PBTA comes out very rigid. They try to remove the dice, but end up defaulting to really vague pass sort of fail mechanics. Because they are still trying to make a game, not creative writing. Crowlab prompt book. Yeah, welcome to the wonderful world of... Yeah, so these are the question moves. Question moves are pretty simple. So let's say, for example, I'm going to roll with savagery. I said I'm going to roll with savagery. I said I'm going to roll with savagery. I said I'm going to roll with savagery. I've rolled with savagery. Good job, team. I'll keep rolling zeros. The big thing is when I'm sizing somebody up, I get to ask these questions, and the GM has to answer them. So I'm looking at someone being like, hey, what do they intend to do next? Well, they're probably going to reach for their gun. Okay. How can I show dominance to this person? How can I fuck their day up? Well, he's going for his gun. He's looking at you. He's looking at his gun. You can probably do it by going hard. If you definitely know he's going hard on you. If you move forward, he's gonna get scared shitless. He doesn't know what to do. Unlike, hey, what do you wish I'd do right now? What does he wish you would do right now? Back the fuck up. He wants you to leave. He's scared out of his mind. But if you only roll, an 8, for example, you can ask one question. And these again set the narrative. Now you know, and if you act on it, you get a +1 to your roll. All right. Now, this is the odd one because you do take damage. Anytime you take, there is damage, but there's not damage. So when you turn to violence, roll a savagery. On a hit, mark stress and trade harm as established. 10 up, choose 3. 7 to 9, choose 2. You inflict terrible harm. You suffer little harm. You resist marking stress. You avoid collateral damage. Because yeah, this is the kind of game where like attacking somebody makes you lose stress. Because again, there's no strict health system, but there is a health system. Now, for example, yeah, if you beat someone to death with a metal baseball bat, this option is for you. Inflict terrible harm means it can run to stay dead. You avoid the harm they would usually receive. Picking this option means you usually can't get fucking shot, but it does always mean you can get away cleanly. Okay, you'll resist marking stress, avoid collateral damage. Yeah, so there isn't, but there is. But yeah, this is... How do I want to work this? This is the health system. This is get fucking shot. When you get fucking shot, add +1. Handgun or other small weapon. The shooter is an amateur, isn't trying to kill you. You have cover, body armor, a bodyguard, blah, blah, blah. On a hit, you'll live. And up, it's a minor but heroic wound. 7 to 9, you choose one, the shooter chooses one. It's bloody, you'll die without immediate aid. It's messy, the wound leaves an impressive ugly scar. It's painful, -1 until you get medical attention. On a miss, you're pretty much finished, pendejo. MC will tell you how you go and how it happens. Getting fucking shot is how you die in this game. Yeah, this is the... Technically, there isn't any rules for, like, getting hit by a car. It's, you get fucking shot. Yeah, it's, this is, like, one of those really, it's an odd way of doing this, but it's like, alright. Helping or interfering, pretty standard stuff. Strain your finances. Generally speaking, if you're trying to, like, spend a shit ton of money, that's what you want to do. You're making that move. Now, stress moves are interesting. Every single thing you do is going to build stress. Now, one of the big things is if your stress fills up all the way, you can't choose to resist things. You're overwhelmed, it's kind of like you're overwhelmed. You can't choose to mark stress. The MC may ask you to make stress moves at any time, but they can't request a particular move. If you've got to trigger one quickly, or the MC will escalate the situation further. Pretty much, if you are overstressed, people can, for lack of a better word, fuck with you. They're forcing you to do things that you normally wouldn't do, or they're kind of being able to ignore you a little bit more. You can't really act as best as you can. However, there are ways for you to clear these. First thing is verbally abuse someone. Just yell at someone repeatedly. PBTA games and are similar too much, and depending on binaries do not add anything. Gradients of success depend a lot on the GM having favor or fuck ton of GM fiat. Better getting fucking shot while straining. Yeah, it's like, yeah, just getting fucking shot. Yeah, if you verbally abuse someone, you're gonna clear some stress. Okay, cool. but you make sure that they also, get stressed out. Oh, lose yourself. Now we get the fun. This is lose yourself. When you lose yourself in a substance, roll with grit. On a hit, you clear your stress track. Takes a toll, make a drug move on the lift. You're in deep. Buena suerte, cabron. Easiest way to take the edge off of the drug tip is sample some of the project. Lose yourself in a substance. You're wondering why marijuana isn't on the list. Pot isn't nearly hard enough to make you lose yourself. Because, pot makes it so you can't chill the fuck out. Yeah, you can't have a few drinks with dinner and claim you're to be losing yourself. Yeah, these are your cocaine. These are your cocaine moves. These are your heroin moves. So, for example, you're clearing things out and you're doing heroin. You push away someone who cares about you, overlook a crucial deadline or event, steal funds in preparation for your next fix. Crystal meth. Accuse a loved one of theft or betrayal. Push a place you keep towards squalor. Hurt yourself to keep your diablos at bay. Make a scene about how you were wrong. Let slip someone to the wrong person. Wreck something meaningful carelessly. Spend your money stupidly or carelessly. Now, we're going to talk about these in a bit. Yeah, losing yourself, like, more drugs than consumed in a lifetime. White or brown, brick stacked like construction material in warehouses all over. Coca leaves bought for pennies in South America or thousands in the Midwest. Yeah. Mexico is como burro de regrudo, curgrudo de igual muerto de sed. Everything you need is right here. Everything is for the taking. Mark for someone else because it fetches a higher price a world away. None of this is yours, Cameron. None of it ever was. If you confess your sins to a priest, you get a bunch of different things. Dish out a beat. Now just beat the fuck out of someone. You can clear your stress track. Cool. Now, this is one thing that's weird to me about these moves. About particularly the stress moves. Because is it? The weird thing about the stressed moves are pretty simple. Is instead of having something that's like, yeah, just chill the fuck out. Get away from it. Be human. This would be a really good time to be like, hey, be human for a minute. Take some time off. Don't get stuck in the grime of things. You just want to hang out with your family. You just want to do something normal. You go bowling. They don't really have any of those things here. So it's like you have to verbally abuse someone, lose yourself in drugs, confess your sins to a priest, or beat someone to death. You can't just leave for a moment. Hey guys, I'm kind of losing my shit here. I'm gonna just hang out. We're taking the day off. You'd be like, oh, well, yeah, go on. Healing. The healing mechanic is smack talk. Where are the Jenka moves? We can't have shift air. This is too American gent. Okay, where are my gotcha moves? Gotcha moves are just heroin moves. What are they misrepresenting? Yeah, just get worse or go to a priest. Yeah, that'd be like one of the interesting bits here would be like, why isn't there just like a hang out with your family? You're wasting time. You're clearly taking time away doing something else. And it maybe don't have it clear a lot. Maybe clear just a little bit. Maybe just a minute. Yeah, it's like, why don't you just leave? Oh, or even enter things like, because the weird thing is they talk about that. Yeah, other moves, and you get stress, harm, lifestyle, and the keys. You're going to get overwhelmed by just about anything. Now, this is, yeah, violence and harm. It's if you inflict stress on someone you are hurt, it's owie zowie. It's if you get a narrative industry if you get a stress injury, you just build stress. If you get a narrative injury, it doesn't change anything. You don't have like a, oh hey, you've taken 5 health damage and you are now bleeding to death on the ground. No, you've taken you've got winged in the leg. You're gonna take a ongoing penalty to moving, or you get fucking shot. Those are the 3 ways to get hurt. There's no real narrative in industry. If you're gonna like jump out a window or something, like you're gonna be pushing your luck to do things, or you just get shot. It's really weird. Like it's always very strange to me. Like, and if you want to have like, why make an open-ended move when you can make a highly restricted move for the sake of style instead? Can't I talk with my imam? Sorry. Why is every Mexican Catholic? I think a Protestant wrote this. Yeah, it's technically with priests are interested. Like, hello phone. Talking with a priest is actually kind of funny. If we go to where's the talk with a priest? Yeah, confess your sins. You roll with hustle. On a hit, you find forgiveness, clear stress check. You must perform penance. On a miss, the priest sees your false contrition. Take a -1 going on to hustle until you truly repent. Yeah, it's... He's fooled by, on way of sin come to Baron. Your priest isn't fooled by your confession. You take a -1 to go and hustle until you find your way truly absolved in the eye of the Lord. Again, it very funnily enough, it's like you're lying to the priest pretty much. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, heat move. Heat moves are... Everybody's got different amounts of heat. Heat moves are usually bad. You want to avoid suspicion. You don't want heat. You don't want to succeed at these. Oh, they're looking. They found you. If you're trying to leave a crime scene, yeah, you don't want to find it. If you're fleeing from the cops, you don't want to do this. You want to leave. That's kind of the idea there. But yeah, if we go that lifestyle, there are 5 lifestyles: destitute, impoverished, stable, luxury, and extravagant. The higher you are in your lifestyle, the more money you have on hand, the more you're allowed to do something. And straining your finances takes on a different term. Hey, it's hustlenomics, Burnside. I don't know what you're talking about. You may not like it, but my hustlenomics. Now, the interesting thing that, like, this doesn't really like pop up, but it can pop up if your GM gives it. Here's the thing: if your GM gives a shit, this is gonna pop up a lot. If your GM doesn't give a shit, it'll never pop up. Because the entire idea is, if I'm stable, that means like I'm a relatively normal, like I work a 9 to 5 kind of thing. I have regular comfort. I have enough. I can support a family. We own a home. It's great. You know, if you're in luxury, you're pretty wealthy. If you're extravagant, you don't really have to worry about things. If you are stable but you're straining your finances, that's one thing versus if you live in luxury and strain your finances, or if you're destitute and straining your finances. Straining your finances and being destitute is like, I need to get a gun. Stable is, I need to buy a house. Luxury is, I'm buying a mansion. Keys. Or, sorry, leaves. Leaves and advancement. Keys and advancements, how you earn experience points and gain advances enough to understand. The big thing is, we'll go with Manly here to explain how the keys work a little bit. These keys are special. So mark X. So for example, Manly is arrogant. He's gonna mark XP anytime he uses his superior knowledge and experience to verbally shame or abuse someone. Or he's gonna mark XP anytime he takes on a new loan or strain your finances to meet your family's needs. Mark XP anytime you lie to someone. But anytime you find a way to get around your key, anytime you find a way to pretty much circumnavigate it, or give into it, then you clear it and get an automatic advance. So if you play to your keys, you're going to get experience points to do more things. If you clear a key, you're going to automatically level up, but you can't really go back to it. So for example, clear this key in advance when you admit to a loved one that you're in over your head and urgently need help. Or clear this key to advance if you find a way legal out from your under your obligations. And advance when you finally come clean to someone who trusts you about your lies and deception. It's like, oh. Earning in advance. Pretty much anytime you advance, you're going to mark off new things. Each playbook is relatively unique in that idea. You kind of see over here with your advancements. Only 3 XP per advancement. Yeah, sorry, it's not a laboratory, it's a laboratorio. Technically, when you cite everything, when you clear everything, you can choose any key you want. So it's like, oh, well, I've cleared the arrogance key, and because I've cleared the arrogance key, now I have to deal with the paranoia key. Now I have to deal with the schemes key. Now I have to deal with the pride key. I don't think this is a terrible idea. It's like, oh. Now, these are the playbooks. We're going to talk about playbooks. Are there stats beside hustle and savagery? Can I be John Cena and Professor of Thugonomics? Yes, technically these stats are, we have face, grit, hustle, savagery, and heat. Yeah, it's technically you can just pump up your hustlenomics if you want. I made Manly a lot grittier because grit's just the best stat in the game, by the way. Grit is just good because grit's your luck stat. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to do something, just roll grit. It's just going to save your life. Just roll fucking grit. But yeah, no, every playbook is one of the ones where you have no options with your fucking stats. Very little options with your stats and stuff. So, playbooks are fascinating. Playbooks are a phenomenon. Playbooks are a phenomenon that, on one hand, I could see the idea. It's an evolution, though. A playbook, at its absolute basics, is a class. Cool, it's a class book. It's going to give you a very certain number of mechanics, usually a certain number of ideas, and a certain thing to make you unique. In the original Apocalypse world, you had things such as the Hardholder. The Hardholder didn't really have many things they could do by themselves, but they also owned a fucking settlement. They were the leader of a place. People respected them. You had people like the Gunlugger, who had a lot of exotic weapons they could bring to the field. You had the Driver, who had a bunch of cars. That was kind of like one of the big ideas of these. Playbooks evolved gradually over the years to being class types. They're classes. But they're really boring classes. Because one of the major issues with playbooks most of the time, and I don't like playbooks, by the way. I'm going to be honest with you all. Let's be, upfront with one another here. Yeah, they're very unflexible classes. You can try to kind of bring yourself in different contexts, but you're always going to be kind of in that particular... Yeah. A lot of these games even outright encourage you, like, please do not play the same playbook. You're not really supposed to be making the same playbook. And they even get around with this. They even try to get around this pretty actively in this game. Your Sicaria might be a vengeful killer. A playbook is a tool to help build characters with real stakes and setting, but your job is to make each character you create a real person at your table. So instead of being able to like kind of really handcraft it, you have a very vague instruction. Not really my favorite thing. We're going to go over every single one of them. Yeah. Face is your social power. Grit represents your tenacity and good fortune. Hustle establish how good you are at drawing people in and convincing them to go along with you. And savagery is your capacity for violence. Understand? They're going to explain your gear, your lifestyle in your playbook, similar to what your starting keys are going to be. You don't have access to many moves right off the bat. You kind of see here, you end up with 1 move and 2 more. But you kind of see here, like, the Walter White doesn't actually have many moves to play from. But they also do everything in their power to, like, make sure you can't actually get every move here. You kind of see here, when you fill up your advancement, you only get 2 additional moves from the Walter White playbook. But you have to get moves from other playbooks. And it's like, then you get interesting ones like this when you hit after a certain point. Oh, like, get a +1 to any stat. Resolve a laboratory trouble. Change your character to a new type. Raise your lifestyle by 1 level, or just retire your character. This is a very common one, which is just retire a character because you're just done playing them. Like, okay, like, sorry, we just finished playing you. You're not going to hit that point most likely, but it's worth talking about. So, we're going to go over the basics of these, yeah, the ties. Everyone's kind of filled out talking with one another, the relationship maps. We're going to go over the playbooks. Yeah. But just know her man is her employer, murderous drug lord, no man. Yeah, you might end up in like things where people don't know who they are, but you should at the same time. So this is El Cochino. El Cochino. Clever, resourceful, luck. El Cochino is a vital part of the cartel's operation. He cooks the drugs, but unlike everyone else involved in this pinche mess, he's got skills that might prove useful to a wealthy pharmacy or a legitimate universidad. Why risk so much for Las Carteles? To give you an idea, this is Walter White. You may think, hey, Notepad, what do you mean it's just Walter White? The answer is, it's Walter White. Now, why do I say, hey, this is just Walter White? Think about who Walter White is. Secrets, debt, arrogance. Good start. And then you have your ties, where you're supposed to write other characters' names in here. For example, I have Iro, is familia. Close family. They don't know what you do in El Cartel, and you're not sure that you can keep a secret for long. Jabibi got you into this business to help you with financial troubles, but didn't tell you the whole story. Now you're both stuck. But luckily, me and Manly have an understanding. You need each other for now, but both of you know the current situation won't last. He's my little tiger ball, and we're in this war together. Oh my god, the danger man. No matter match makes me think it was about upper middle class white girls, which was here for spring break. If this was made by gringos or not. Can I have the moment? Can I have the moment where everyone says this is the moment where character name becomes playbook name? Yes, you legitimately can do that a vast majority of the time. It's great. Well, the thing is, Varric, I'm going to counter your point on the, you're not supposed to play the same class in most RPGs, but you can do that. That's the thing. You can play 2 fighters in a D&D campaign, and you can still play the game pretty well. Like, it's still there, and you can have characters that look very different from one another. The issue with playbooks is that, like, if you have 2 Sicario, for example, they are going to be the exact same. It's a little bit more pronounced than in other games, let's just say that. I fucking choke laughing. Yeah, ethical, just to just because ethical, you weren't quite here when we were going over everybody. So let's just bring up the give me one. Let me just bring it up. Let me just bring it up one more time. I don't know what you're talking about. We're not dealing with the whitest people available. Just If we go down all our various. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Mark Truman, Sarah Richardson, Marissa Kelly, MK, Brendan Conway. Yeah, we've got confirmed one Mexican person on here. We got one confirmed Mexican person. J-Ro, Amanda Valentine. All I'm saying is there's the fucking Wonder Bread department coming in. Was also, Mr. Truman. He was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And this was his. Cartel was his. Yeah, the thing is, he was born in New Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he wanted to make his Mexican American RPG, his Latino RPG. So he made Cartel. Yeah, that's the funny part. Ethical. You see the funny part about this entire game? You see the amusing aspect about this, where you get the fucking Santos candles and you start getting all these. Oh, have no fear. Yeah, this. Let me see. Where is it? Years ago, I asked myself what a Mexican American RPG looked like. Cartel is my answer, baby. I love it. So, this is. You have your various moves here. You stock and cooking at the start of the session. Roll with grit on a hit. You make enough for your meet your commitments. Because the interesting thing is, the Walter White actually start with 2 stress already marked every session. You normally clear your stress tech at the end of a session. You do not with these guys. You're always going to have 2 unless you can burn it. So it's pretty much like you're notably weaker, but you're a lot more important because you've got things like your laboratory to worry about. You've got your troubles in your laboratory. But oh no, you must keep your work secret from those closest to you. An esposo or novio who asks too many questions. A niño who thinks you're beyond reproach. An elderly madre or tío who relies on you financially. A prima who works in the federal law enforcement. An old coworker who feels badly about your troubles. A community leader. Ciencia. Cabron. So yeah, for Manly, I tried my best to make him as Walter White as possible. This is where Manly became Walter White. When you justify yourself with an upsetting emotional outburst, roll with grit instead of face. When you propose a deal that relies on the quality of your product or your special training and skills, roll the grit instead of face. I just tried to shove out my face with my grit, because I could do that. Yeah, that's it. You don't get that many moves, but let's yeah. Like, oh, well, if you want to play this character, like, this is what you should be doing. Yeah, you want to be doing this. Like, you're just a normal person. Don't worry. They literally just... They just kind of cite it. Like, this is the Walter White playbook. I can't admit it to because my game's lore is the same shit as this, but with Florida. Man is a love of New Mexico for no. This is set in Mexico. This is a Mexican game, very specifically. La Esposa. This is literally the wife, is the innocent tangle in the web of life, the spouse of another character who has become enmeshed in the conflict she might not know exists. But the drug war infects everything. A thin veneer cannot laugh. What will she do when it falls? Oh, a reasonable car, a cell phone, a cheap laptop. Yeah, your hustlenomics is pretty good here. You got the your comer algo, your paradis. Man, my favorite. Skylar, you don't understand, Skylar. You gotta help me. We gotta funnel the money. Skylar. Yeah, yeah, El Hassan. Eager, naive, and tenacious, El Hassan is the hawk, the little bird that reports to his handlers and ensures that no one important is ever too close to the drugs or money, but his reach exceeds his grasp. What will the jefes do when they realize that he's over his head again? Your look, man, ambiguous, lazy eye, you know all these things. Destitute lifestyle, a shit car truck, burner phones from your handler. Hermanos, when you get your pandillo to follow your lead on something dangerous, costly, or ordinary, roll with hustle. They go with the plan. Mercedes, Bandito, completely focused on escape, push your luck. Vendettor, Matador, filling your shot, marking against you to turn to violence against unsuspecting target. Yeah, so you've got your, by default, 3 loyal amigos you've known for a while. Give them names. These are people like Badger from it, you know. Crew has worked for you, cabron. Your crew becomes a gang. Your crew is down for a fiesta. Roll with hustle instead of grit when you get lost in the substance together. Crew's ready, down for a fight. Roll with hustle. Roll with hustle. If you want to be a hustlenomics guy, you're going to be playing, yeah, if you want to be playing this, Now, the funny thing is they, again, cite Jesse Pinkman for inspiration here. They literally put in Saul Goodman is one of the. I will bring up fucking Saul Goodman. And nobody can fight me about whether or not they believe this isn't Saul Goodman. Yeah, right here. El Aboganster, astute, connected, and flexible. The lawyer is a corrupt lawyer who keeps the money flowing and lost Federalists away from everyone important. You can just play Better Call Saul if you feel like it. That's just Saul Goodman. That's just all it is. So now we get to El Narco, beleaguered, wealthy, and dangerous. Is El Jefe, in charge of Los Carteles, oversee La Plaza. He's nearly untouchable by most. Set by threads large and small. Can he hold on to his throne in spite of the sword that looms over his crowned head? They don't cite it, but this is Gus Fring. This is just Gus. Yeah, you get 2 moves. But the big thing here is that you're supposed to more define what your plaza is like. That's kind of the idea. You don't get that. You're effectively a heart holder. You aren't directly affected by it. Yeah, that's kind of like your thing. They like to say it like, again, they cite fucking mama. Like, it's like, why would you, like, this is quite literally, this is Gus. This is Gus Fring. If you want to play Gus, you are playing El Narco. Now, if you want to be very, if we're doing this correctly, if you want to build Gus, you're going down here. Let's see. Yeah, your plaza. We'll go with that. Los Hermanos. Let me see. Yeah, right there. You only know a few of your real name and appearance, -2 heat. I would say you do this one and your plaza profitable. Yeah, pretty much is like you are very wealthy, but only a few people actually know who the fuck you are. That would be how I would make that's how you make it. Probably go for this one. You have a host on all choke points and profitable. There you go. That's how you do it. In the middle, let me see if we're doing this. Yeah, it's like probably it would be something along the lines of these 2. These would be the 2 here. Yeah. La Policia. Policia! Policia! Yeah, you can just play a bad cop in this game. If you want to just play a terrible fucking cop. Yeah, if you want to play evil cop, you can do this. This isn't Hank. Hank does have his own. Mind you, Hank literally has his own playbook. He has his own. So you don't have to worry about playing Hank. If you want to play him, you can. I love the part in Better Call Saul when John Better called Saul. I like watching Breaking Bad and said, wow, he's literally me with every single character. Wow, he's literally me. Yeah, La Rata is a mole in the cartel whose only way out is through. Yes, you are a mole in the cartel. I don't believe you have a Breaking Bad reference. Yeah, you don't have a Breaking Bad reference on here, unfortunately. There's like the only issue here was that you literally cannot reveal the fact that you are playing La Rata to anybody. You can't. Yeah, you can't reveal that because then everybody knows and it's no longer a secret. And the millisecond the GM has to make, hey, can you please make a move on this? Unless he like secretly like, it gets a little bit weird because this is like very specifically, this is like a negative playbook, like where you're not really working with the rest of the team. This is La Sicaria. You're a drug enforcer. Cool. You're not very good at hustling. I would say bump up that savagery a lot because a lot of your savagery does this. When you get fucking shot. Yeah, technically you can go down pretty hard and you can kill people pretty easily. Let's see, various weapons that you can have, various gear that you can have. You want to slap a fucking by sheer technicality, you can put a, if you want to be really specific about things, you can put plus loud from any weapon. They don't really say anything. Technically, shotguns aren't loud in this game, I just realized. Yeah, and I guess technically grenade launchers aren't loud. Yeah, well, I guess the thing is, you don't have to, because I guess the idea with this one is that like everybody knows, but no, it's the drama behind it. But that's also the reason like you have like the wife playbook. Like you can literally play the wife of the El Narco, and you're technically not supposed to know what's going on. And it's like, oh. Yeah, technically, yeah. Have no fear, everybody. You can, Walter, I need help. I can't do the mic voice. But yeah, no, technically, let me see, knives, infinite knives. Let's see, yeah, you. Yeah, no, welcome to, you want to play Mike? You can play Mike here. And the rest of this, literally the rest of this is just teaching you how to play, like how to actually make the moves and always say yes, always say this. They kind of talk you out, treat everyone as expendable and suspicious. This is mostly GM stuff. Like, this game isn't very big, your moves. When it says your moves, you don't really have moves, but you do have moves. The basic moves are things like this. There's something going wrong. You inflict stress, escalate a situation of violence, shoot someone, award an advantage, threaten someone, disrupt someone's routine, offer a difficult compromise. These are pretty much like GM stuff that they want you to do. They call them moves, but they're not really moves. Using heat moves, using lifestyle. You want to say use lifestyle, improving your lifestyle, using stress for stress moves. Engaging the PCs. They kind of want you to do. Again, you don't understand. He's literally me. Yeah, they kind of start trying to like get you to start doing stuff, how do you create conflicts? How do you do player versus player moves? How do you get information, melodrama, social conflict? Yeah, honor playbook moves, killing PCs. they do say, it's rare, but near death can lead to PC's death. It's clear the character cannot survive whatever harm is inflicted upon them. Caught an explosion thrown off a skyscraper. Yeah, it's kind of like if you just get shot, you just die. Ta-da. Yeah, though advancing been a plays, he leaves their own accomplice to get a new life. Might become El Narco, leaving behind his lab for a La Plaza. La Spinoza might become La Rata, betraying her family in total. Tell the player all the basics from their old playbook. Stats, move, gear, get rid of everything they lose in the fiction. And when she turns traitor, then just take everything in their new play. It's to start. New moves, new gear, new heat, new everything the characters they get now. Yeah. That's NPCs in stress. Like NPCs go down a lot faster. During the first. I'm kind of speeding through this because this is all like GM stuff. Like it's GM stuff. Like again, like this is my love letter. Nikos Mindia wrote in recent scathing review of terrible novel about drugs and immigration set in Mexico that Mexico is an infinite subject to which one must dedicate a lifetime to understand. It's impossible to understand it. Cartel has taught me I know nothing about the drug war, nothing except what is here in these pages. Truth wrestles with lies and tell ourselves. To avoid seeing La anti-drug clearly, it isn't nearly enough. It will have to do. That's the weird thing. This is, again, it's one of those weird things that he is like, well, I didn't really know that much about, Mexico. So I chose to write a game about the fucking cartels. It's like, yeah, they kind of go over like, oh, this is all the basic stuff. But yeah, that's Cartel. Cartel is one of those fascinating games where when I watched Breaking Bad, it clicked for me. Yeah, the problem is that he said it's my Latino game. Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Ethical. This is my Latino game. But it's a Latino game from some guy who was born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And do I think did he go to Mexico? I don't know. I genuinely don't know if he can speak Spanish. That's the funny part. I genuinely do not know. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. And it's like, it's rather than talk about Cartel, rather than talk about things like, here's the thing. This is what this is Notepad designs a game in 5 seconds. Let's be fair. He likely speaks Spanish. I don't know. That's the funny thing. Like, he didn't say in the beginning he can't speak Spanish. He said that he got somebody to help him with a bunch of Mexican lingo and, like, understanding the police and shit. Because, like, I don't think he's ever been to Mexico. And if he has been, I don't know why you would write... I do not know why you would write a game about the cartels as it. That's the weird thing. Oh, god damn it. Because here's the thing. If you want to make a game, because like let's talk about Breaking Bad for a second. In Breaking Bad, you follow Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. The thing is, these two goobers start their life because Jesse is a fuck up. Like, Jesse's a fuck up, he's this drug addict, but Walter feels kind of like oh, well, I feel bad for my old student, but Walter desperately needs money. He has a problem. He needs to get money, so he starts cooking meth. Not because of, he's a bad person or whatever. No, because he's desperate. He needs money, and he needs money now. He's, he works as a shitty school teacher. He's not doing too hot. He's got cancer. But slowly over the course of the story, you'll learn more about both of these characters. Oh, goodness gracious me. Ooh. You learn slowly over time that, Walter Walter's incredibly intelligent. He, constantly throughout his life, he's been kind of upstaged by his coworkers, by his friends. People have surpassed him. People have all, kind of constantly done better than him in his life. And he feels like he, and you constantly see throughout the story that he has an ego. He has a very big ego and explains a lot about him. You see a innocent man slowly become, you see Walter White become Heisenberg. That's kind of the joke. That's kind of the constant joke, is very kind of point out. You see him become this because of his hubris, because of his ego, because of not because he's a bad person, but because of the situation he finds himself in. But you start with Jesse, who says, "Oh, bitch, hey, yo, bitch." You see, he sounds like this punk, but slowly over time, you learn that he is a fuck up, but he's doing his best with every single thing he can to be a better person. And by the end of the series, he is a better person. Arguably, Jesse, the original drug addict, is a better person than Walter White. He does his best to become the best he can be. The issue with Cartel is that they're trying to keep their cake and eat it. They want to have all the exciting melodrama of Cartel life with none of the gravitas of "you are working for the Sonola fucking Cartel." And I don't think you'll ever find this game translated into Spanish, because fucking imagine that. Imagine that if this was circulated in Mexico, Christ almighty, that the fucking author would be chopped into fucking pieces. Because it has such a bizarre back and forth about it. It's like it's positive, but it's negative, but it's positive, but it's negative. I wanted something. I think I was going into this thinking like, this is going to be the Breaking Bad PBTA game, and it's as if there was a Cartel spin-off of Breaking Bad without Vince. I think I went into this thing, I was wanting, did we break bad? Of course, Manly, we broke bad perfectly, as you can kind of see. The issue is, it wants desperately to be Breaking Bad, and it's not, like, if you were to say, hey, this is a Mexican soap opera RPG, alright, I'm down. I could deal with that. If it's a Mexican soap opera RPG, and it's just very dramatic, and everybody's speaking poorly dubbed Spanish, and it's supposed to be a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, with some deeper issues in there. Okay, I can deal with that. I believe there is a PBTA game with like soap opera. I think there is a soap opera RPG. I'm like 97% sure there is. But I find it fascinating that they went with like the worst aspect. Again, it feels as though like they were doing their best to be like, we want to do the most Mexican thing possible, but they only did the thing that the whitest people I've know about. It's a bummer. I was hoping for more for Cartel, and I was hoping for more, but I got maybe a bit more than I was looking for. I could have swore there was another one. PBTA hack, yeah. Let's see. We need to do, I'm waiting for the Breaking Bad sequel, Better Rim Kim. Yeah, speaking about the Russians, you know what? Let's talk about the Russian people. Let's talk about Night Witches. Yes, The Night Witches, a game by Jason Morningstar. Yes, a game by Jason Morningstar, and I'm going to just I'm just gonna go down here and a little bit. We're gonna talk about that now. Night Witches is a fascinating game. I hate Night Witches. It would be like making a game about black people and the playbooks are gangbanger and crack addict. Where are my lolly dog fighters at? Nope, sorry, this is not your game. If we go to Night Witches was a